Welcome, Boundless Beauties. Today is day 3 in the perseverance journey for myself, and woke up with the dawning statement: what I nurture consistently will grow in time with patience. And boy, did I need to really resonate on those words. um, it was a hard day. Day 3, I was full of discontent, and I had begun to do what I always do, and that was not live in the present, thinking about the future, more about the end of the month and bills and how I'm going to make it from one month to the next. And I really had to focus and reset myself for the day. And I found that it was very hard to do. I was reading through my creator's notes. I did my scriptural anchor for the day. I had to actually read some more scripture. Um, I ended up not really getting done what I normally would get done in a day, and that was also pressing very heavy on my spirit. And my mind was being flooded with negative verbiage towards myself about how I wasn't doing enough, that I needed to do more, um, that I probably needed to make some huge life decisions and I needed to make them quickly before everything fell apart. And I had to really just ground myself and do a lot of body, mind, spirit alignment check ins, you know, I even had to just stop myself from moving that day because all the movement that I was doing was frantic or it was um, jumping all over the place. So I wasn't sure what to do first and when to do it. And I had to stop everything and basically almost do nothing. And not nothing in the sense where I literally did nothing that day and laid around. I actually did some things that day, but I did more household chores and duties, or I did laundry, or I made. Uh, that day, I did spend all day cooking a great meal. I stuffed some salmon myself instead of buying it at the store. I made my own recipe and literally just sat chopping vegetables and you know walking and doing whatever I needed to get my mind to reset itself so that I wasn't continuing to foster negative energy in my life. I really was trying to ground myself in those words that it will grow in time with patience. And I know it will. And I did a lot of prayer and meditation and really slowed myself down because when I get frantic or I am full of anxiety, I move, but then my movement is kind of useless. I'm doing a lot of movement, but nothing's getting done. So that day I did get some things done. I ended up in my yard. And my yard needs a lot of help. It has been neglected for some years. So I was out there raking the dead spots and preparing the soil for grass seed and trying to water the grass. And then I found out something else was wrong and needed to be fixed. And I spent a lot of that time that day trying to fix it. And I did not get it fixed. And that did push me back into another slump, but I was like, "Hey, hopefully, God willing, it'll rain and the seeds that I just put in the ground won't be in vain." And I just walked away from it. And by the time I got inside, my day was kind of over, but my body was hurting. So I was like, "Okay, now I need to take some medicine." And now I really can't do too much of anything else because I was so sore. But My yard did get some loving that day, and I bet my yard was like, "Well, thank you, because you've been ignoring me for a long time." And I sat with myself. I took some medicine and I took a long hot shower and I did a lot of reflecting, but I wanted my thoughts to be more positive. So I began reflecting and making sure that the words or the that there were actual affirmations in my mind. Instead of me saying things negatively to myself, I had to really concentrate on being or counting my blessings. So I was looking at everything I still had. And there was nothing at that point that had been taken away from me. I just was projecting, hey, if I can't get this money in ASAP, that all the things that I am enjoying and my comforts in this life and the things that I bring to my children's comfort will be gone and they'll disappear. And yes, in a sense that is true that if I do nothing, I get nothing, but I am doing something and I'm doing something every day. And so I had to look at the things that I do and the things that I can do and slow down enough to know that um things will work out and that the talents that I have will continue to be a blessing in my life and that I shouldn't fear. And when it comes to persevering, that's a huge thing for me is that I have lived almost all of my life in this fear that prevents me from moving forward or gives me doubts and insecurities. And yes, I'm not a perfect person, but I'm a person that is deserving too. And so I needed to share that truth. I need to share that yes, you bought the book. Yes, you're going through the guide. Yes, every day you have some grounding statements and some things to do to help you, but that is not going to remove the pressure of actually having to do it. That you are going to have to sit still with yourself just like I do and have those moments of reflections. And sometimes those moments come when we least expect it. There's a deadline at work and it has to be done. And you're toiling through that deadline, but you're noticing you can't get anything done. You can't concentrate, you can't focus, and the work isn't getting done. That's something that normally takes you 5 minutes to do is now taking you an hour and 15 minutes to do because you're not grounded in self, you're not aligned. And so sometimes you have to take those 15-minute breaks. And those 15 minute breaks are not shouldn't be used to then run tell that or have a smoking break or eat something. It should be really to get yourself back to yourself, that you need to be connected to your spirit in that moment to know what it needs and what it can handle. And sometimes your body is telling you you need to take a break, or your body is telling you, your mind is telling you you need to slow down, or your spirit is telling you enough already. And if we keep ignoring that, then that's when we hurtle down these negative emotions of anxiety, worry, depression, and doubt, and lacking self confidence. And so, although day 3 was really hard for me and it was excruciating to try to reset myself. Like I spent most of my day just trying to reset my mind. But once I reset it, I was good to go for the rest of the day. And I think by that time it was maybe 4 or 5 o'clock by the time I really reset myself. The meal was ready. It was so delicious. And I thanked that blessing that that meal was really good. Um, and I once again looked at all the things I had: my home, my children, food on the table, clothes on my back, running water, lights, electricity that worked. And I just can't look at the one thing that I don't have and say that it's a bad day, or I got a lot done within that day. I, cleaned some stuff. I washed, I organized, I was out in the yard. And no, wasn't able to do much as far as my Born Beautifully Boundless blog. I didn't get my vlog out that day. Um, but I knew that I would get it out eventually, and I just needed to take the time to absorb how that day went before I moved forward. And I went to bed unsure of tomorrow, but I will say I slept soundly. If this message was a blessing to you, or that um, you feel like you want to join the journey and get the guide, you can check out boundlesshim.com. If you order the book directly on my website, you get some free gifts and you can secure your seat to the end of the month check in that will happen in June. But you can also purchase it on Amazon. And if you don't want to join the journey, you can always like, subscribe, and definitely share the content for someone who is in dire need of some upliftment. Enjoy your day.